Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Immigration Power Hour. We're lucky enough to have John Meagher here from LinkedIn Lead Depot, or Lead Flow Depot. Sorry. He's been an expert in LinkedIn ads for quite a while, been helping our clients with doing LinkedIn ads. Big topic for sure. Most people don't know how to target professionals online. They're just waiting for their phone to ring or posting online and want to have a bit more control. But John, why don't you tell us a bit more about LinkedIn ads and how that works, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So online advertising, we look at it in two forms: demand capture and demand generation. So demand capture, think Google ads. Someone's actively looking up, for an example, say you're a landscaper looking for local landscapers, an ad pops up. For most professional services, you're doing more demand generation, meaning you're trying to generate demand. And a lot of immigration firms, I'm sure they're running Google ad and SEO strategies. That's more demand capture. A lot of businesses have trouble cracking the code on demand generation. How do we go to a cold audience who isn't familiar with what we do, position ourselves in a way that invokes interest and consistently, reliably gets us new paying clients? So platforms like Meta, Facebook, Instagram, in this case, LinkedIn, are really strong platforms for demand generation. LinkedIn is very interesting because of its B2B focus, but in the case of immigration law, there's also a B2C component. Where LinkedIn is unique is its ability to target by job title, company size, industry, of course, company name, degrees, years of employment. These are factors that, as we've discussed, Ian, are pertinent in immigration law and pretty unique to LinkedIn. On Facebook, you can target by those items, but people less consistently have those items listed on their Facebook
Yeah.
profile. And so typically the way LinkedIn works is in advertising CPM, it in shorthand means cost per thousand impressions. That's typically how advertising is priced. Typically on LinkedIn, you're paying a higher CPM because of the more granular targeting. With immigration law, if you're targeting overseas, CPMs are much lower, but the ability to target using those factors remains the same. So that has been a compelling case for us in EB1, EB2, and so forth. And so that's just kind of high level there. Happy to continue the conversation and hit on any specific points you want to hit on.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we've noticed from using LinkedIn is we use it as a recruiting platform a lot, but ads are really underutilized. Obviously, when you go on Facebook and Instagram, you're getting targeted from just about everything. LinkedIn's a bit more of a neutral platform. And you're right. I think because they're a recruiting platform, they have a lot of real data on what people do and how much money they make and their real demographic. And it's owned by Microsoft too, which of course is a huge player online. So yeah, it's a big component of that. That's something we've noticed though
Absolutely.
about business immigration, though, is people, a lot of these firms, like even if they're large and doing that, they don't really have a consistent way where they can just turn it on and get clients. They're relying on their content, their relationships, whatever else they happen to be doing, asking for referrals. And those are all great things. You don't want to not do that. But of course, a lot of the firms that want to grow want to be able to know they can put a dollar in and get a certain amount out. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one point I'll hit on there is I think a lot of firms view paid ads as, does this work or does this not work? Oh, we tried Facebook, it didn't work. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google, all of them can work. And almost all times out of 100, it comes down to execution. And the way that we think through advertising is there is an eventuality where it works extremely well. And it's all about staying in the game long enough to get there. And so, whether firms work with an outside vendor or they do it internally, I think one of the big mistakes that I see is they'll say, okay, we're going to give this 30 or 60 or 90 days to work. And if it doesn't work, we're shutting it off. The reality is the right answer is there. And firms that I see successful over time budget both monetarily and mentally of, hey, we're going to try for the next 18 months to make this work. Even if we
Yeah.
spend a little bit amount of money, a small amount of money, it's going to be a game of iteration and learning, because the real cost is the opportunity cost. If you're able to get 100, 200, 500, depending on the size of your company, qualified leads a month, you're talking of millions and millions of dollars in new revenue. The reality of not having that is, again, of course, on a monthly and yearly basis, a huge opportunity cost. And so we really try to think through what is the value of the opportunity if a firm can get paid ads to work, and then budget appropriately. So you give yourself enough time to get great. You're going to probably have to make some tweaks. Maybe it's your offering, your positioning, your audience, the creative, the copywriting, you name it. There's a lot of factors that go into successful online advertising. But for firms that really haven't done it before or haven't done it at any legitimate scale in the past, I tell them think in endurance race and learning, not okay, 30 days to test, and if it doesn't work, we're pulling the plug. That's just, I wanted to get that out there, as I would say that's one of the most common things that we work through with the businesses who are just getting into the game for the first time.
Yeah, and that's an important note. Someone told me that when I was starting. It's how do I get clients? Like every type of marketing works. You just gotta go about it. But you gotta think how you're nurturing that connection. When we do a lot of business immigration marketing, what we'll do is get the person, we want to reserve them content after they opt in, just about the case type. And then it depends what you're marketing too, of course. It's kind of a thing. But most of the people that are gonna want to market like that are usually gonna want to get cases for people that can sponsor themselves because there's not any hoops to jump through on that side. We do webinars, ads, serve ads to people, push them to follow you on Instagram. So even if they're on LinkedIn, follow on another platform, follow on LinkedIn, post content, be appealing online. I've noticed that a lot of people, they want to pay ads companies in place of actually building content for themselves and having a blog and making videos. But then they end up just being a ghost. And it doesn't mean you can't make money on there, but that's the thing though, is people want that connection. But if you want to have pre-sold clients or coming in with some degree of interest, you're going to want to have that component. Have an intake process too. Have someone that can call and talk to them, and they're not there to consult the person necessarily, but they're there to warm them up, gauge, hey, can I trust these people? Especially if you're bringing up outside the country, it's a big deal. Someone have to sell their home, move here, leave their whole entire life, and come over. If they don't even know what the case type is or know the firm, it's something there. But just kind of to your point, over half the clients we sign are from a year ago plus. And so it's needs evolve, needs change, and it's really a short amount of time for making a big life decision. And so, but what have you
Absolutely.
noticed actually? Because I know everybody's wondering, because I think most people watching this have tried paid ads or they've had colleagues that have done it before. When someone wants to start running ads, what do they need to do before they start right now in order to get the most out of running a big LinkedIn platform ad? Because LinkedIn's costly. It's a lot more costly than other platforms. Obviously, you're getting in front of a higher quality person, which is good. But the other thing is, though, is like you said, you got a budget for it. But there's a lot of things people can do to prepare in order to actually have the procedures ready to get that built out.
Excellent question. So I'll answer this in two parts. Initially, philosophically, and secondly, on the technical side. So on the philosophy side, getting a clear picture of what success looks like. So is it a certain amount of leads per month? Is it a certain ROI within a certain time frame? Getting expectations set early on is a really important piece of the game, because no matter what platform you're on, if you don't have instantaneous success, that doesn't mean there's not huge successes to come.
Yeah.
And so just wrapping around, hey, I'm willing to commit X dollars for 6 months, no matter what we're going to learn. That's a good mindset to come in. Even if you're doing it internally, you're DIYing. Secondly, on the technical side, I would say one, you really want to think through what your funnel looks like. Do you really have a funnel? And by funnel, a lower friction, somewhat scalable way prospects become leads who can become clients. So are your forms and the lead tracking in place? Do you have a robust CRM flow set up? Do you have attribution set up? Now, if you're working with an outside vendor like us, we handle a lot of these things. Is there clarity around your offering? Do you have a paid consult? Do you have a giveaway, a free resource, or a webinar you send them to? Really look at your deck of cards and see, okay, what do I have that can provide value up front? Brand guidelines, messaging angles. Depending where you are, it doesn't mean ads aren't the right place or aren't the right thing to do yet, but you have to reframe again. If we work with a firm that says, hey, we run ads on 3 different platforms, here's the messaging, here are the angles that work, here's the audience, here's a pre-assorted list you can target, they're going to have a lot more success quickly normally. But it's still super valuable for firms that aren't at that level yet to learn a ton. That's the one thing that ads are great for, is you are getting in front of an audience no matter what, opposed to your organic content. And you get to see raw feedback. Hey, this has been our firm message for 30 years. And wow, when we run into an audience of 10,000 people, it is a really low click-through rate. People aren't interested in it. Wow, we might have to revisit this. And ads can be used really for a couple of things. One, of course, being getting new clients and ROI, but two is the data, the information you get that you get to learn. And a lot of our best clients are incorporating ad data into other areas of their business, i.e., we might have a certain angle or a certain hook that we use in an ad that is hugely successful, and then they're incorporating that in their sales process, or their attorneys start saying it to clients because they're knowing, hey, this resonates with this audience. As far as the checklist goes, even if you're going to spend 1,000, 2,000 bucks a month on ads, or even a several $100 test, make sure that you're following what I'll call, and we can have a long podcast on this already, the basic core concepts of direct response advertising, directly calling out who you're looking for, giving a value proposition, being value forward, using, when I say creative, the ads themselves, something that is likely to scroll stop, that someone's going to actually stop and look at, having a clear direction of where they go after. It's one of the things that I see a common mistake is firms that haven't done a lot of advertising having to think in terms of, I'm speaking to someone who probably has never even heard of our firm, and assume they know nothing because they probably do. And what I mean by that is, don't just, oh, here's a link to our webinar. Say, here's a link to our webinar. It's 45 minutes long. We cover A, B, C, and D. After the webinar, you're going to get asked if you want to, whatever, opt into a call or see if you qualify for consultation, whatever it may be very specific on the outcomes that everyone gets for every action they take. Click on this ad to the next page where we will tell you X, Y, Z, the webinar that tells you ABC, etc. Make sure there's no room for ambiguity. You want to be succinct. You want to be short in your words to a degree, but you want to have enough copy words that your prospect knows exactly what they're getting, when they're getting it, and what happens next. That will be a huge influence in the success of your funnel and how effective your ads are post that first click.
Oh yeah. And that's a big thing. Everybody, they're looking for a savior. They're looking for, hey, can I just pay this person and they'll make me some money? It's kind of thing. But you're hitting on an important point. You got to have a process, right? It's kind of thing. An analogy I use when I work with clients regularly is, imagine two people have a new gym membership. And one of them has a Peloton bike that they use, they exercise, they run at home, or they run out in their neighborhood, whatever they do. They do their push-ups, and the other one's just a couch potato. One's more predisposed for success. It doesn't mean that both of them can't see the results they want, but obviously there's a predisposition of people that have those habits and structures, and it's the same thing for a business. You got to make sure it's healthy beneath the hood in order to benefit from advertising. And that's a big thing. And you're right. A lot of people get used to referrals. They get used to people coming in, buying on their own, and then just someone there's a little bit more of a trust barrier with that they need to cross.
Absolutely. And I'll jump in there too. Common mistake that I see made, or I'll just call it the non-optimal play, is firms will run ads, but just send the ads to their website. The issue with that is, especially in 2026, a lot of people, we have the attention span of a goldfish. If you send someone to a website, they're clicking around, they're looking at your attorneys, and they're reading this thing and the firm story. And then their wife calls them to cook dinner and they have to run out of their room, or their son's ready to get picked up from school. Then they do 100 other things and they forget. The way you want to think about your ad, your funnels, is congruency. The ad should say the same thing as the landing page, should say as the same thing as the webinar, should say the same thing as the booking page to book a consultation, etc. You want to keep as much as possible with one angle, one message, and give your prospect only one lane to go down. So when you start introducing different ideas, different angles, hey, you could do these 10 different things and this different thing and meet the team and this and that, while that may logically sound like a good idea, it actually creates too much room for distraction and actually a level of what I'll call cognitive overhead that is not conducive to the highest conversion rates. And so that's an easy thing, is if a firm says, hey, we run ads, but they're running it to the homepage of their website, that is low-hanging fruit. Run it. When I say landing page, to clarify, a landing page is a single web page, normally with one purpose. So opposed to a website where you can click to 10 different areas, a landing page is click here to book a call, or click here to watch this webinar. Here's why you should watch it. Here's social proof, why you can believe the things we'll say. Here are testimonials. Here are the benefits. Here's a compare and contrast of what you get if you do this certain thing. A landing page is a web page that is designed around trying to convince someone who's visiting the page to take a particular action, stands everything else.
Yeah. And that's a good point. You got to guide people's behavior. And that's, I think, a lot of, because when people pay for ads, there's a sense of entitlement. Hey, I'm paying for this, so it should be better, as opposed to kind of, hey, I'm just paying to start a relationship. Is the thing. You're just paying to get in front of more people.
Yeah. And one last thing there before we jump into the next question is I think sometimes firms will think in terms of, okay, I'm paying for ads, we're just doing ads, it'll work, it doesn't work, or we're doing ads, or maybe we'll do organic content. Really, at the end of the day, if your goal is to scale up your firm, you want to be doing all this stuff with time. Now, of course, smaller firms, even larger firms, you only have so much bandwidth internally and so many resources. But I always think businesses should aspire to be on podcasts, hosting events, doing direct outreach, doing organic content, doing ads on multiple platforms. In the same way that if you were like the Beatles wouldn't be, we sold records, so we're not going to do concerts too, or we're doing concerts, so why
Sure.
would we
Yeah.
sell records? No, you do everything you can with time. If you have the resources to do well at it, that's good. Organic, your Instagram post may help your Facebook account, may help your Twitter account, which helps your ads do better, which helps your SEO rankings, which like all of this stuff feeds off of each other. And there isn't typically you should do this or not do that. You want to, it's as long as you're doing it well, think of it holistically in the medium, short, medium, and long term of growing the brand, growing the business, not just, hey, there's this single function and we're betting the whole farm on this one single function.
Yeah.
I think people who are doing ads should also be investing in great video content on Instagram and TikTok. It's not, you should
Yeah.
do this or not do that.
Yeah. Because people look you up when they're like, well, who's this
Absolutely.
person? Yeah. Yeah, they look you up, especially most of the people that are going to market on LinkedIn anyways are going to be people that have a higher price service. And so that's one of the
Absolutely.
things too. Most lawyers, they're especially business immigration, lower tickets, 4,000, the high end is 35 or 40. Definitely a lot of money and a lot of baggage that comes with it too. People only get one immigration history. So it's a big thing when they're advertising is to have something that reassures the person. That's
Yep.
the idea. Yeah. All right, got it. It was great having you on here, John. And so I always happy to talk. If anyone wants to get a hold of John, feel free to go to leadflowdepot.com. Great company. We've been working with them recently to get business immigration leads. So it's a helpful thing. If you want to get control. And if you automate more of your intake process, your sales, your production for your immigration firm, feel free to reach out to us, immigrationfinder.com.